Hi everyone, welcome back to Bible in a Year. My name is Natalie and today we are on day 286. I am so happy that you're here today and I hope your day is going better than mine. This day has drug me through the muck and mire and I kind of feel like, have you ever had one of those days where you feel like your ankles are tied with a rope and there's like a cowboy that's like dragging you on the ground racing through the forest? Oh my gosh, it has been quite the day. But you know what, I'm here and I am so ready to hear what the Lord has to say. I don't pre-read these days. I have read the whole Bible a couple times in the past, but the format escapes me. So I am so hopeful. There's something wonderful in here today. Let's find out. We're going to be reading 2 Kings chapter 3, Ezekiel chapter 41, James chapter 4. I know there's going to be something good in there. And then Psalm 145, but only verses 8 through 13 today. Let's just get started. 2 Kings chapter 3. Here we go. Now Jehoram, the son of Ahab, began to reign over Israel in Samaria in the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and reigned 12 years. He did that which was evil in Yahweh's sight, but not like his father and like his mother, for he put away the pillar of Baal that his father had made. Nevertheless, he held to the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, with which he made Israel to sin. He didn't depart from them. Now Mesha, king of Moab, was a sheep breeder, and he supplied the king of Israel with 100,000 lambs and the wool of 100,000 rams. But when Ahab was dead, the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Israel. King Jehoram went out of Samaria at that time and mustered all Israel. He went and sent to Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, saying, "The king of Moab has rebelled against me. Will you go with me against Moab to battle?" And he said, "I will go up. I am as you are, my people as your people, my horses as your horses." And then he said, "Which way shall we go up?" Jehoram answered, "The way of the wilderness of Edom." So the king of Israel went with the king of Judah and the king of Edom, and they marched for 7 days along a circuitous route. There was no water for the army or for the animals that followed them. The king of Israel said, "Alas, for Yahweh has called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab." But Jehoshaphat said, "Isn't there a prophet of Yahweh here, that we may inquire of Yahweh by him?" One of the king of Israel's servants answered, "Elisha, the son of Shaphat, who poured water on the hands of Elijah, is here." Jehoshaphat said, "Yahweh's word is with him." So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Edom, went down to him. Elisha said to the king of Israel, "What have I to do with you? Go to the prophets of your father and to the prophets of your mother." The king of Israel said to him, "No, for Yahweh has called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab." Elisha said, "As Yahweh the armies lives, before whom I stand, surely, were it not that I respect the presence of Jehoshaphat the king of Judah, I would not look toward you, nor see you. But now bring me a musician." When the musician played, Yahweh's hand came on him, and he said, "Yahweh says, make this valley full of trenches. For Yahweh says, you will not see wind, neither will you see rain, yet that valley will be filled with water, and you will drink, both you and your livestock and your other animals." This is an easy thing in Yahweh's sight. He will also deliver the Moabites into your hand. You shall strike every fortified city and every choice city, and shall fell every good tree, and stop all springs of water, and mar every good piece of land with stones. In the morning, about the time of offering the sacrifice, behold, water came by the way of Edom, and the country was filled with water. Now when all the Moabites heard that the kings had come up to fight against them, they gathered themselves together, all who were able to put on armor, young and old, and stood on the border. They rose up early in the morning, and the sun shone on the water, and the Moabites saw the water opposite them as red as blood. They said, "This is blood. The kings are surely destroyed, and they have struck each other. Now therefore, Moab, to the plunder." When they came to the camp of Israel, the Israelites rose up and struck the Moabites, so that they fled before them. And they went toward into the land, attacking the Moabites. They beat down the cities, and on every good piece of land each man cast his stone and filled it. They also stopped all the springs of water and cut down all the good trees, until in Ker Hareseth all they left was its stones. However, the men armed with slings went around it and attacked it. When the king of Moab saw the battle was too severe for him, he took with him 700 men who drew a sword to break through the king of Edom, but they could not. Then he took his oldest son, who would have reigned in his place, and offered him for a burnt offering on the wall. There was a great wrath against Israel, and they departed from him and returned to their own land. Wow. I love that. That was kind of cool. I kind of like something for that to happen for me today. Anyways, Ezekiel chapter 41. He brought me to the nave and measured the posts, 6 cubits wide on one side and 6 cubits wide on the other side, which was the width of the tent. The width of the entrance was 10 cubits, and the sides of the entrance were 5 cubits on the one side, and 5 cubits on the other side. He measured its lengths, 40 cubits, and the width 20 cubits. Then he went inward and measured each post of the entrance, 2 cubits, and the entrance, 6 cubits, and the width of the entrance, 7 cubits. He measured its height. He measured its length, 20 cubits, and the width, 20 cubits, before the nave. He said to me, "This is the most holy place." Then he measured the wall of the house, 6 cubits, and the width of every side room, 4 cubits, all around the house on every side. The side rooms in 3 stories, one over another, and 30 in each story. He entered into the wall which belonged to the house for the side rooms all around, that they might be supported and not penetrate the wall of the house. The side rooms were wider on the higher levels, because the walls were narrower at the higher levels. Therefore, the width of the house increased upward. So one went up from the lowest level to the highest throughout the middle level. I saw also that the house had a raised base all around. The foundations of the side rooms were full reed of 6 great cubits. The thickness of the outer wall of the side rooms was 5 cubits. That which was left was the place of the side rooms that belonged to the house. Between the rooms was a width of 20 cubits around the house on every side. The doors of the side room were toward an open area that was left, one door toward the north and another door toward the south. The width of the open area was 5 cubits all around. The building that was before the separate place at the side toward the west was 70 cubits wide, and the wall of the building was 5 cubits thick all around, and its length 90 cubits. So he measured the temple 100 cubits long, and the separate place and the building with its walls 100 cubits long. Also the width of the face of the temple and of the separate place toward the east 100 cubits. He measured the length of the building before the separate place which was at its back, and its galleries on the one side and on the other side, 100 cubits from the inner temple and the porches of the court, the thresholds and the closed windows, and the galleries around on their 3 stories, opposite the threshold, with wood ceilings all around, and from the ground up to the windows. Now the windows were covered, to the space above the door, even to the inner house, and outside by all the wall all around, inside and outside by measure. It was made with cherubim and palm trees. A palm tree was between cherub and cherub, and every cherub had 2 faces, so that there was a face of a man toward the palm and on one side, and the face of a young lion toward the palm tree on the other side. It was made like this through all the house all around. Cherubim and palm trees were made from the ground to above the door. The wall of the temple was like this. The doorposts of the nave were squared. As for the face of the nave, its appearance was as the appearance of the temple. The altar was of wood, 3 cubits high, and its length 2 cubits. Its corners, its base, and its walls were of wood. He said to me, "This is the table that is before Yahweh." The temple and the sanctuary had 2 doors. The doors had 2 leaves each, 2 turning leaves, 2 for the one door, and 2 leaves for the other. There were made on them, on the doors of the nave, cherubim and palm trees, like those made on the walls. There was a threshold of wood on the face of the porch outside. There were closed windows and palm trees on the one side and on the other side, on the sides of the porch. This is how the side rooms of the temple and the thresholds were arranged. Good to know. All right, this is what I'm waiting for. How about you? James chapter 4. Where do wars and fightings among you come from? Don't they come from your pleasure that war in your members? You lust and don't have. You murder and covet and can't obtain. You fight and make war. You don't have because you don't ask. You ask and don't receive because you ask with wrong motives, so that you may spend it on your pleasures. You adulterers and adulteresses, don't you know that friendship with the world is hostility toward God? Whoever therefore wants to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God. Or do you think that the scripture says in vain, "The Spirit who lives in us yearns jealousy"? But he gives more grace. Therefore it says, "God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble." Be subject therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners. Purify your hearts, you double-minded. Lament, mourn, and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning, and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he will exalt you. Don't speak against one another, brothers. He who speaks against a brother and judges his brother speaks against the law and judges the law. But if you judge the law, you are not a doer of the law, but a judge. Only one is the lawgiver, who is able to save and to destroy. But who are you to judge another? Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow, let's go into the city and spend a year there, trade, and make a profit. Yet you don't know what your life will be like tomorrow. For what is your life? For you are a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away. For you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will both live and do this or that. But now you glory in your boasting. All such boasting is evil. To him, therefore, who knows to do good and doesn't do it, to him it is a sin. Wow, I needed to hear all of that. All of it. Because this day has been a day of making a lot of decisions for people who are not very nice. And my knee-jerk reaction is completely inappropriate. But you know what? We're not supposed to behave that way. We are supposed to continue to just give and love, and we are not to judge other people. And then what is our life? What is my life? My life is a vapor. It could go poof tonight. And will I be remembered by my knee-jerk reactions? Or will I be remembered by kindness and patience and being helpful? That's what I want to be remembered for. Can't go wrong in the book of James. All right, Psalm 145, verses 8 through 13. We're going to continue the praise psalm by David. Yahweh is gracious, merciful, slow to anger, and of great loving kindness. Yahweh is good to all. His tender mercies are over all his works. All your works will give thanks to you, Yahweh. Your saints will extol you. They will speak of the glory of your kingdom and talk about your power, to make known the sons of men his mighty acts, the glory of the majesty of his kingdom. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. Your dominion endures throughout all generations. Yahweh is faithful in all his works and loving in all his deeds. This is why we do not let one day pass. I'm just going to use me for an example. I am not kidding you. The job I have, I'm in management. And I had today multiple jobs, multiple people coming at me with their ugly faces and ugly words, and none of it my fault. None of it, I'm just trying to manage the situation. If it was something I did, it would have actually been a much easier job to handle. And I'm just trying to handle all these emotions and all these people and all these situations, and I'm feeling like I'm drowning and I'm nothing, and there's nothing I can do. But we jumped in to the Bible, our daily reading, and at the very, very last sentence, Yahweh is faithful in all his words and loving in all his deeds. He is the only one that matters. All this stuff coming at me, it doesn't matter. He is loving me. He is loving in all his deeds. I'm going to hold on to that. And I use myself as an example because I know I'm not alone. And I sure hope you're having a fantastic day. But if you're not, just remember, we are a vapor. None of this matters. What matters is our relationship and how we hold on to him every single day. And when we feel like we're drowning, we hop into the Bible, or we listen to the Bible, or we turn on some beautiful music and draw closer to him. Because that's what matters, the relationship. Sorry, this has been such a spaz day. Please come on back for tomorrow, which will be day 287. Hopefully things will have simmered down. And I look forward to seeing you then. Have a fantastic day. I am going to continue on knowing that God's loving kindness is around me. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Bye.